from wherever you are watching in the world. I'm jumping on to have a chat to you about ways of wisdom in the prophetic, and to be perfectly honest, how to walk out a wise life. Why is it that I'm actually talking about this? Well, I've just got off a mentoring session. I'm part of mentoring with James Gold, in actual fact. And I asked a question that might have made me look quite naive, but I wanted to glean as much wisdom around what it was that I have been journeying through so that I could apply it to my own life. I felt that I knew what the answer would be. I knew how I was walking it out in my own life. And yet I still chose to ask the question. Why would I do that? Well, as I said, the reason I attend mentoring in my own walk and ask questions that might appear naive is because I would rather look like a fool in public and glean wisdom than remain a fool in private. Let me say that again, because it's actually the heart of what I'm talking about today. I would rather look like a fool in public and glean wisdom than remain a fool in private. Here's what I've noticed over years of ministry, over years of working as a lawyer as well, and over years of just being a human being on this planet Earth. Too many people, especially people who are experienced, gifted, or in leadership, let pride keep them from asking questions. They're afraid of looking naive, uninformed, less experienced than people think they are, like they don't have it all together, foolish even. And so they stay silent. They don't ask the question. They don't seek the mentor, and they don't admit when they don't know something. And you know what happens? They stay stuck. So here's the truth. The person who refuses to ask questions always stays stuck. The person who swallows their pride and asks will grow. It's really that simple. Pride keeps you ignorant. Humility will open the door to wisdom. Let's have a look at what the Bible says about it in Proverbs 12:15. The way of fools seems right to them, but the wise listen to advice. Fools think they already know. The wise keep listening, keep learning, keep asking. And in Proverbs 16:18, pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. Pride will destroy you. It will keep you stuck and it will lead to your fall, but humility leads to wisdom. So I still have mentors. I still ask questions, even though I'm running my own international mentorship in the prophetic at the moment. I'm still sitting under teaching. I still attend conferences where I'm learning from others. I still have people in my life who I submit to, who I ask the hard questions of, who even might correct me, the ones that I've invited into my world to correct me, who will correct me if I need it. And that includes my husband, who will pull me back and say, I don't think that is wisdom. So I think it's very, very important. And the reason I do that is because it's a way of wisdom. We must have teaching, we must have guidance. So I still have people in my life that I submit to, who I ask hard questions of, and who will correct me or help me grow when I need it. Why? Because I would rather look like a fool in public and glean wisdom than remain a fool in private. Let me know what that actually looks like practically. And this is where we literally have to die to self sometimes to ask the questions. And so you'll have a whole lot of people, which is what just happened to me, who are less experienced than myself, who are messaging me privately trying to give me advice. It was well-meaning, but they didn't understand the level at which I was actually asking the question. So looking like a fool in public means asking the so-called dumb question in a room full of experts. Perhaps admitting you don't know something when everyone else seems to get it. Maybe asking the question that you already know the answer to, but you're willing to listen to what the others might say so that you can learn other ways of doing something that you are walking out in a way that you feel might be wise, but you think, well, maybe I could actually glean some more wisdom from the people that are in the room. It might feel embarrassing in the moment. It means seeking help when you're stuck. It means raising your hand and saying, "Can you explain that to me again?" Being the one that looks like you don't quite get it. People might look at you and think, "I thought you knew better." But you know what? That temporary embarrassment, that temporary, "Oh my gosh, that's so vulnerable," is worth the wisdom you gain. There was some training that I did in an international prophetic mentorship years ago, and I was always the one putting my hand up. And I was so vulnerable at times in asking the questions and feeling like I looked like a fool, but I was desperate to get clarity. I was desperate, even though I felt I knew the answers. I wanted to see what people who are wiser than me had to say. People who had years, decades of experience on top of what mine is. That I wanted to know what they might do in a similar situation or how they might answer a particular question. And so I would put my hand up and I would be so embarrassed at times. I would get teary in the moment and feel so vulnerable. But inevitably, I would have private messages saying, "I'm so glad you asked that. I wanted to know the answer to that as well, but I didn't have the courage to ask." Pretending more than you know, staying stuck in ignorance because you're too proud to ask, missing opportunities to grow because you won't humble yourself, operating in error because you won't receive correction, making the same mistakes over and over because you refuse to learn, or looking like a fool in public so that you don't remain a fool in private, so that you might glean some wisdom. Which one sounds better to you? I'll take temporary embarrassment over permanent ignorance any day. I'll take looking foolish for a moment over operating in error for years. I'll ask, and I'll ask a refining question if I need to, if I have the grace to continue to learn and to grow so that I can then pay forward the wisdom ways that have been given to me by elders in the ways that I'm trying to walk, so that I can then pay that forward to those that I am also mentoring as well. It's like checking up. Am I walking in wisdom ways, or am I shrinking myself? So what do I mean by that? The question that I was asking was, how do I walk in particular rooms and respond in wisdom ways? Do I remain silent? When do I step forwards? What does that look like? And I gleaned some more wisdom to understand how it is that I needed to be walking out my prophetic purpose, my kingdom destiny in the days and the years to come. And here's something beautiful. At Luke 2:46, we're told that even Jesus asked questions. At the age of 12, his parents found him in the temple courts. It says, sitting among the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. Now, we don't know what the questions were. Were they questions to trick them up, that actually called them out and that revealed? I don't think so. It doesn't seem like it. I think maybe they might have been questions to try to understand how they saw things, so it's quite an interesting thing to think. I always thought that those questions were maybe like really wise ones, or ones where he was getting this download wisdom from God, but maybe they were just questions because he wanted to understand better what it was that they were saying. Jesus, the Son of God, sat among teachers and asked questions. If Jesus asked questions, who do we think we are to be above it? Listen, wisdom doesn't come to the proud. Wisdom comes to the humble. Proverbs 19:20 says, listen to advice and accept discipline, and at the end you will be counted among the wise. That word discipline, to be discipled, to learn, to teach. When someone disciples you, or when someone disciplines you, they teach you. I have a whole teaching around the discipline of God. I talk about it in my book, I Am God's Happy Place, about the discipline of the Lord. It is never harsh. It is never nasty, but it's corrective in nature. He's drawing you up into who it is that he's calling you to be. He's drawing you up to see him more clearly, to understand who he is with greater clarity. Wisdom cries out to those who are willing to sit at the feet of those who know more. Proverbs 9:9 says, instruct the wise and they will be wiser still. Teach the righteous and they will add to the learning. The wise keep learning. The foolish think they already know. As I said, wisdom cries out to those who are willing to sit at the feet of those who know more. Ask questions without shame. Receive correction without defensiveness. Admit when they're wrong. Learn from anyone, anywhere. From the mouths of babes, sometimes God will speak. Ways of wisdom will flow if we are willing to have eyes to see, ears to hear, and a heart to know God and his wisdom ways. I've made a personal commitment in my life to never stop learning, to never stop asking questions, and to never stop seeking mentors, whether they're in the form of books or online mentorships or gathering together every Sunday morning at my church and listening to the different messages that are being preached. There's always a one-liner that I can take away and I can apply to my own life. I'm not listening so that I can point the finger and say, you need to fix that, you need to fix that. I'm listening so that I might learn, so that I might grow, that I might gain wisdom, so that I might then not only live a better life, but I might also be able to impart that on to others, pay it forward. This is how we grow. This is how we mature. I would rather humble myself in front of others than remain a fool in private where no one sees my ignorance. This is how we develop wisdom in the prophetic and in life. And I'm going to be really blunt with you just for a minute. Pride will keep you stuck. It will also keep you isolated, and it makes you unteachable. It's such a dangerous place to be. The unteachable people don't grow. Of course, Proverbs 12:1 says, whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid. That is so harsh, but it's true. If you refuse correction, if you won't ask questions, if you're too proud to admit you don't know, you will remain stuck. It might be confronting if you are highly sensitive, if you can feel the feeling in the room shift and you think, oh gosh, have I made a dampener, or have I asked something stupid? But you know what? If you don't ask, you'll keep operating in the same blind spots. You'll keep missing opportunities for breakthrough because you are too proud to ask for help. I think the other thing is that even if you think that you know the answers to the questions that you answer, you just might learn something more if you ask with a heart that's open to learn, to hear, and to receive. Humility, what happens? There is so many rewards to humility. Humility opens doors. Humility attracts wisdom. Humility positions you to receive. Remember James 4:10, the brother of Jesus says, humble yourselves before the Lord and he will lift you up. And Proverbs 11:2, when pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom. With humility comes wisdom. That's the promise. That's what God offers to those who will humble themselves and seek it. So, some very practical ways to apply this. Number one, find some mentors, people further along than you who are going to encourage you, equip you, empower you, and then hopefully say, go get out there. That's my heart with what I do with the mentoring that I do for others. Number two, ask questions, even the dumb ones. If you don't understand something, ask. Don't pretend. Don't fake it. Don't nod along when you're confused. Just ask. But be wise in where you ask. You know, I used to ask questions and leaders would think that I was trying to undermine their authority, and that was not my heart. My heart was to understand, to grow, to develop, and to have greater ways of wisdom. You need to find pretty secure leaders who aren't going to be bothered by your questions. But also people who will who have got some runs on the board. There's some integrity. There's some ways of wisdom that they've actually walked out. You know, number three, receive correction without defensiveness. When someone corrects you, don't argue, don't justify, don't make excuses. Just receive it, consider it, thank them for it. You know, only receive it from people that you've invited into your life, though. Have some boundaries. And number four, admit when you're wrong. I think this is huge. If you miss it, own it. If you make a mistake, say so. If you prophesied something that didn't come to pass, or that was off, a little bit off, acknowledge it and learn from it and say, I'm sorry. And number 5, stay teachable no matter how experienced you become. The moment you think you've arrived is the moment you stop growing. And I don't care how many years, I don't care how many years you've been in ministry. I don't care how many years you've got on this globe. Yes, you've got far more wisdom, hopefully, than the others who are younger, who have not been around the block enough times. But you can still grow. Doesn't matter how developed your gift is, how many people you've ministered to. Stay teachable. Never outgrow the need for mentoring. So here's my challenge for you today. Oh, I don't normally come live and say this, but swallow your pride. Ask the question, seek the mentor, receive the correction. You might look like a fool for a moment, but you'll gain wisdom that lasts a lifetime. You'll gain wisdom that not only lasts a lifetime, but you'll gain wisdom that you can then pay forward. I would rather look like a fool in public and glean wisdom than remain a fool in private. What about you? Will you choose temporary embarrassment and lasting wisdom? Or will you choose to protect your pride and remain stuck? The choice really is yours. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What keeps you from asking questions? Is it pride? Is it the fear of looking foolish? Is it the fear that they won't think I'm as mature, which is one of my fears? They'll think that I'm immature in my walk. Or maybe you can share a time when you asked a question that felt embarrassing, but it led to breakthrough. The wisdom that I gleaned today gave me confidence in the choices that I am currently making. It was confirmation and clarity in how to walk forwards in these days of so much shift and change and a little bit of chaos. So let's have a conversation about it. So thank you for joining me. If you've spent some time here on the replay or on the live, remember, humility is the gateway to wisdom. Ask the question, seek the mentors, stay teachable. But until next time, now I'm just going to check out the questions, check out the comment on the lives before I finish up. So I'll finish up on the Instagram in just a minute, but I will have a look. Thanks, Mike. Yep, you are an amazing example, Mike, of asking questions. It's amazing. Yep, I set an example this morning, Kathleen. You saw it. Such good and wise words. Thank you, Heather. Great insights. Takes guts to be honest. It does. Teachable and changeable with every breath you speak of God's goodness. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you for your encouragement. So anyway, it doesn't look like there are any other further comments that I can see at the moment. I will be continuing with my prophetic mastering moments when it comes to the teaching and the training and the prophetic. I haven't called that this particular life that, just because I felt that it was slightly off topic, but I will continue that conversation into the future. So I just want to wrap up by saying much love. Have a beautiful week. Keep looking to what it is that Jesus is saying and doing. Keep calling forth. We are not broadcasters of bad news, but we are legislators of kingdom pathways and blueprints. Keep being you, keep being thoroughly you, imbued and saturated with the goodness and the glory of God. Many blessings, and we'll catch you soon. Bye for now.